Hey, Patrick's here. This video marks the first step of an exciting new journey, a channel where I'll share the development of my video game, as well as the challenges and solutions I face as a solo developer with a family and a full-time job. So, what am I developing? A 3D platformer in open-world maps, where the character movement through the environment plays a key role. I will feature small jumps, big jumps, double jumps, jumps with spins, running with jumps. Yes, I really like jumping. Guess what my favorite animal is? No, not you. You. The main goal is to reach a specific point on the map, but it won't be limited to just one route. There will always be multiple possibilities. The choices you make will influence the story I'm telling. Naturally, the story reflects who I am, a father and a husband. In my spare time, I work on Project Destiny, even though I have a full-time job outside the video game industry. In fact, I still consider myself a novice when it comes to game development. Through this project, I want to tell a simple story, one built on choices, much like real life, ranging from the easiest to the most challenging. At the moment, I've created two maps, a tutorial map that serves as an introduction to the mechanics and the story, and I'm well into the development of the first open map, which is about 1 square kilometer. My goal is to complete 3 open maps named Dawn, Daylight and Sunset. This map will feature both main and secondary objectives, which will shape and personalize the story depending on where the player decides to go. A closed, secluded area will feel very different from an open, vibrant location. We'll revisit this concept later in the video. We all know that creating a video game is one of the most complex tasks in the entertainment industry, and I can speak for experience, as this isn't my first game released. Doing it with a family and a full-time job is incredibly challenging, filled with sacrifices and compromises. I work on PD when I'm home with Amber. The key is to have lunch ready before mommy arrives. I have my desk set up in the living room, so I can always keep an eye on things. Luckily, Amber enjoys playing alone and having fun with the family dog. Of course, it's not always that smooth. Finding time and energy to work on my projects isn't easy, but as long as there is passion and support from those around me, everything becomes a little easier. My wife and I are big fans of video games and anime, especially works from Studio Ghibli and emotional video games, like Journey, Inside or Shadow of the Colossus. These have been a huge source of inspiration for the visual direction of Project Destiny. The main character was particularly challenging to create. She is the first 3D character I have ever designed, and implementing all of her features was no easy task. Since Destiny will be the most visible aspect of the game, I made sure to give her as much visual appeal as possible. I paid special attention to her hair, which is designed to resemble a small flame. Thanks to the physics in UE5, I made the hair dynamic so it followed the character's movements naturally. I'm thinking of making a specific video on how I created it. What do you think? I've invested a lot of time creating convincing and beautiful environments. The game features large meadows, streams, trees, rocks and more. I wanted to avoid placing paths to guide the player too much. Instead, I want them to feel free to explore wherever they choose. As they explore, the character's energy will gradually deplete from running, jumping or walking through water. The blue orbs scattered around the map will restore energy and encourage players to pay attention to their surroundings, prompting them to explore and study the environments in the game. This is the key part of the project. A few years ago, I began showcasing my creations through video on YouTube. I explained the channel by sharing the most effective and interesting techniques via video tutorials, hoping to help others by sharing my skills related to this specific graphic style. Initially, I planned to post content about the video game itself on that channel, but I realized that most of my subscribers, who were primarily interested in tutorials, weren't as engaged with my game development journey. So I decided to start fresh with this new channel. If you are interested in the more technical aspects of the production, follow the Graphic Line channel. The open map is composed of various environments, because each space needs to communicate something. This map represents the adolescence of a boy or girl, and based on the place we visit, we can explore different traits of their personality and stories related to their youth. On the map, there are 3 secondary locations where you'll make choices that will define who your character is. There are also 2 main locations, and reaching one of them will advance the main story. In addition, other elements scattered across the map act as collectibles, but will also reveal aspects of our character's backstory. By exploring, you can uncover what lies hidden in our protagonist's life, and all of it is shaped by our choices. These choices won't always be obvious. In fact, I want them to feel spontaneous, not controlled, so that we can tell interesting and unpredictable stories. Creating video games is my biggest dream. But even more so is the opportunity to let you experience my games. That's why I think it's important to build a community where we can grow together, exchange opinions, and help one another. But game development will always be my greatest passion. Creating worlds, characters, and telling stories is what truly makes me happy. So the next steps on this journey include creating the first real trailer for the game. I still need some asset for that. And I'm eager to open a Steam page as soon as possible to start gathering wishlists. I'll also be adding teleportation towers, finalizing the trees that will mark important places, finding an artist for illustrations, and recruiting a musician for the soundtrack. I also want to complete the first map so I can begin the initial testing phase, to see how players engage with the game and which areas they prefer to explore. Along the way, I'll keep you updated on the next steps of the development. For insights into character creation, dive deep into the game concept and discuss what it means to develop a game with a growing family, especially with a child. Stay tuned by subscribing to the channel and liking this video to join me on this journey. Until next time.